Dear students and audience, welcome to this session on fiscal and economic impacts of tourism, its impact on accommodation and transport, including road, rail, airlines, new tourism products focusing on youth, adventure seekers, marketing effort, as well as enhanced foreign collaboration happening via tourism development and associated policy measures. After this session, you would be able to better understand the role of tourism and its policy on country's development, how tourism and associated tourism policies have affected in the country's forward movement, how incredible India has made positive strides across the sectors. India is a large market for travel and tourism sector. It offers a diverse portfolio of niche tourism products like cruises, adventure, medical, wellness, MICE. India is a large market for travel and tourism sector. It offers a diverse portfolio of niche tourism products like cruises, adventure, medical, wellness, sports, MICE, ecotourism, to name a few, for domestic as well as international tourists. And rightly, India ranked 34 in the Travel and Tourism Competitiveness latest report published by World Economic Forum. In WTTC's latest economic impact report, India's travel and tourism GDP contribution grew by almost 5%, which was the third highest after China and Philippines. Additionally, the report also highlights that in the recent past, India has witnessed the strongest growth in the numbers of jobs created, followed by China and Philippines. Thus, talking in totality, travel and tourism industry contribution to the Indian GDP has been in tune of 200 plus billion. This is expected to reach almost $500 billion by 2028. In India, this industry's direct contribution to GDP is also expected to record an annual growth rate of something in tune of 10% in the coming times. Lately, foreign tourist arrivals in India also stood at 10 million plus, achieving a consistent growth rate year on year. During the same period, foreign exchange earnings from tourism have also increased steadily to almost 2 lakh crores. Diving deep, foreign exchange earnings relate directly to foreign tourist arrivals, enhancing foreign exchange reserves. Foreign exchange earnings coming from payments made by foreigners on goods and services required to purchase domestic currencies. Business too is one of the main sources of foreign exchange earning. Foreign exchange earnings are dependent on comparative exchange rates between destination country and the country from where tourists originates. Then, foreign exchange earnings are important for a country to maintain it. A balance of payment is a systematic record of all economic transactions between residents of a country and rest of the world carried out in a specific period of time. In other words, it's a summary of international transaction of a country for a given period of time, which records a country's transaction with rest of the world involving inflow and outflow of foreign exchange. A balance of payment account, like a typical business account, is based on double entry system. It contains two-sided credit as well as it contains two sides, namely credit side and the debit side. Between the two, any transaction which brings in foreign exchange is recorded on credit side, whereas any transaction that causes a country to lose foreign exchange is recorded on debit side. Given the current scenario of enhanced bilateral ties and country-to-country connections, it is important to keep a close eye on tourism satellite accounting to know where our earning or spending are happening. The e-visa facility, friendly country tag, and inviting social media are some of the soft powers we can enhance even more towards this arena. As you are aware, tourism is not a single activity, but a sum total of experiences, right from thinking about the destination to making plans for travel and dreaming of those experiences and making them see light of the day in itself is a dream come true. just within this wide spectrum of experiences and services, we need service providers which are helping us make our tour. Of late, Indian tourism sector accounts for something like 30 million plus jobs, which is almost like 7% plus of the total employment of the country. By the next decade, it is expected to account for about 50 million plus jobs. International tourism arrivals are also expected to reach something like 30 billion by the coming decade. The Ministry of Tourism is implementing an initiative called SATHI, System for Assessment, Awareness and Training of Hospitality Sector, by partnering with the Quality Council of India. The initiative effectively implement guidelines, SOPs issued with reference to safe operation of hotel, restaurants and other units. Ministry has also introduced Incredible India Tourist Facilitator and Incredible India Tourist Guide certification program, aiming at catering an online learning platform for training and online learning for tourist facilitation and guides across the country. The IITF concept is aimed to promote microtourism, that is tourism in less explored area of the country. Aviation. Tourism as a whole has been propagated to a good deal by coming of age by the aviation sector. Just at the beginning of new millennia, almost 200 million kilometers were flown by scheduled airlines. There were almost 39 non-scheduled airlines in operation and 225 aircrafts operating across India using a grand total of 50 operational airports. In the current scenario, we have something like 1500 million kilometers flown by scheduled airlines, 72 non-scheduled airlines were in operation of late, and a whopping 680 aircrafts were flying across the country, a grand total of almost 125 operational airports. What does this mean? The number of kilometers have grown by almost 8x, the aircrafts have increased by 200%, and there are 2.5 times the number of operational airports that are in India currently compared to just 2 decades ago. What does this call for? Incredible India in a true sense. These statistics place India as 7th largest civil aviation market in the world and poses the nation to become the world 3rd largest by 2024. India plans to open additional 100 airports by this time. Under the underlying fundamentals of flying in India will not change. This conversation begs the question, what is going to be the key drivers for aviation growth in India? Higher demand across the country, increased private sector investment, and last but not the least, increased public sector involvement. These are poised to take India to newer heights. But transportation does not include airports alone. There is a whole lot cargo sector, a whole lot shipping sector that is seeing light of the day. Consequently, it stands to reason that both passenger traffic as well as flight traffic will impact it's not the airports or airlines alone. There is a whole lot segment of seaports and cargo that is aiding to the tourism development. Freight traffic grew at a CAGR of 5% between financial year 16 and financial year 2020, increasing from 2.70 million tons to 3.32 metric tons. This business has the potential to reach 17 million tons by financial year 40. Growing exports and imports will be an important factor for increasing freight traffic, given that 30% of all trade is done using airways. In summation, the Indian aviation industry is expected to be able to take advantage of numerous tailwinds. These stem from increased growth in passenger traffic as well as enhanced level of freight cargo traffic as well. The growth in this space will be further catalyzed by private investment, and the growth in this sector would be catalyzed further by private investment as well as a conducive ecosystem and infrastructure generated via government initiatives. Infrastructure, hotels, roads, seaways. Infrastructure sector is a key driver for the Indian economy and thus tourism as well. The sector is highly responsible for propelling India's overall development and enjoys intense focus from government for initiating policies that would ensure time-bound creation of world-class infrastructure in the country. The government has expanded the national infrastructure pipeline to 7,400 projects of late. Through this channel, the government is investing $1.4 trillion in infrastructure development in the coming times. The Ministry of Commerce Logistics Division presented its plans for freight smart cities with goal to improving the efficiency of urban freight and lowering logistic expenses. Over the next 10 years, demand for urban freight is expected to increase by more than 100%. The Ministry of Railway plans to monetize assets across eastern and western dedicated freight corridors after commissioning induction of 150 modern racks through PP model, station redevelopment again through PP model, railway land parcels, multifunctional complexes, railway colonies, hill railways and stadiums to name a few. Just in the immediate future, government is implementing 574 seaport projects as well under its Sagarmala project to be implemented by 2035. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways has also introduced a new scheme called the All India Tourist Vehicle Authorization and Permit Rules, where tourist vehicle can register only once and make a movement across India. India and Japan have also joined hands for infrastructure development in India's northeastern states. India and Japan have also joined hands for infrastructure development in India's northeastern states and are also setting up an India-Japan coordination forum for development of Northeast to undertake strategic infrastructure projects for the region. New tourism niche sector development, especially catering to youth and adventure tourism, lighthouse tourism. Lighthouse tourism is planning to boost in a big way as far as India is concerned. More than 70 lighthouses have been identified in India for development as a tourist sport. Wellness tourism, staycation, the widespread practice of Ayurveda, yoga, naturopathy is complementing the nation's spiritual philosophy, making India a famous wellness destination. With the current time, staycation is also seeing an emerging trend, with people staying at luxurious hotels to revive themselves of stress and to have a peaceful gateway. Camping sites are also being promoted in a big way to promote similar unique experiences for the tourists. The Ministry of Tourism is creating a policy for development and promotion of caravan camping parks, cruises. Government of India is estimating that with a market size of 1.2 million cruise visitors by 2030. Thus, it is setting up a huge infrastructure as far as cruise tourism is concerned. Adventure tourism is again one of the popular segment as far as tourism industry is concerned. With a vast geophysical diversity for India, government is again planning a whole lot of improvement in the adventure tourism segment. The Union Tourism and Cultural Ministry has announced plans for developing international level infrastructure at Kargil to promote adventure tourism and winter sports, that to imbibing sustainable tourism practices. The India hospitality industry, spearheaded by hotel market, has emerged as one of the primary sectors which are driving the economic growth of the country. In India, hotels are classified based on location, say city hotels, airport hotels, restaurants, the level of services they provide, upscale, mid-market and economy, and the themes on which these hotels are based, say boutique hotel, heritage hotel, etc. The hotel industry in India is expected to reach a valuation of almost like 1200 billion by the end of 2023, expecting a compounded annual growth rate of something in tune of 13%. On a regional basis, Kerala is anticipated to be the provider for hospitality sector in India in a big way, with more than 450 approved hotels. Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan are again some of the states that are enhancing its hotel inventory of late. The Government of India has allowed 100% foreign direct investment in tourism construction projects, development of hotels, resorts and recreational facilities. A 5-year tax holiday has been offered for 2, 3 and 4 star category hotels located across UNESCO heritage sites. In overall terms, this will act as a driving force for the development of new hotels across country. The Government of India has also announced development of 17 iconic tourist sites in India into world-class destination. The Government of India has launched a Nidhi portal to understand the geographical spread of hospitality sector, its size, structure and existing capacity in the country. It will serve as a common data repository for Ministry of Tourism, State Department and industry to enable future tourism policies and strategies as they emerge. Let's discuss an important scheme known as EPCG scheme. The Export Promotion Capital Goods Scheme is administered in India by Directorate General of Foreign Trade, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Under this scheme, custom duty is levied on import of capital goods for a hotel in India at a concessional rate of 3%, subject to an export obligation equivalent to 8 times of duty saved on capital goods imported under EPCG scheme to be fulfilled in 8 years time frame. Capital goods shall include spares that may be refurbished, reconditioned spares, tools, jigs, fixtures, etc. The DGFT has also clarified through a notification that hotels could import furniture under the EPCG scheme. Import motor cars, sports utility vehicle, all-purpose vehicles by the hotels, travel agents, tour operators and companies are allowed at a concessional rate of 3% custom duty with some conditions. Another is 100% foreign direct investments that is happening in the automatic route for the hospitality sector. Also, hotels of 1 star and above, including managed hotels and heritage hotels approved by Department of Tourism and other service providers in the tourism sector registered with the Department of Tourism shall be eligible to duty credit equivalent to 5% of the foreign exchange earnings by them in the preceding financial year. Standalone restaurants will be entitled to duty credit equivalent to 20% of the foreign exchange earning by them in the preceding financial year. Sum up. Dear students, after this session, hope we have better understood the fiscal and economic impacts of accommodation and transport sector, new tourism products focusing on youth, marketing effort, and other foreign collaboration happening via tourism development and associated policy implementation. We also discussed the financial schemes like EPCG. As a rewind to the session, please try to answer these questions. How does foreign exchange earning get affected with foreign tourist arrivals? Comment on balance of payment aspects as well. How has the tourism sector evolved in its hotel and aviation segment, especially on the foreign collaboration front? Name some of the new sectors identified within the tourism portfolio catering to youth and adventure seekers. What is EPCG scheme? Which segment or segments of tourism does it relates to? Thank you so very much for your patient hearing. Thank you so very much.